First thing, I apologize for my raspy ass voice. We just kicked off strength conditioning this week, and I run the weight room, so I've been yelling. Also, I just got done. I just got here. We had a little camp up at our place. We had an NFL O-line coach kind of teaching, so I was up there working and all that, so I apologize. I'm going to go through just kind of year-round O-line development. I'm not necessarily going into scheme, so to say, but my contact's on there. I love to talk ball. I live in the area, obviously. So after, if you want to, we can. We'll sit down, chop it up. But I'm going to go over kind of just a year-round development, like the title says. So first, it has volume on it. I know it's not working. Kind of what we try to do at Seguin. Meetings come around. We know our kids. They can barely sit 10 minutes in a classroom. So what we try to do is we try to have some type of music or something going on when they get in, just so they can kind of get their energy right. We practice in the morning. We meet in the morning. These kids are sleepy as hell. So we try to give them some type of music, something to wake them up. So again, I know it's not working, but kind of just have like a compilation, clips kind of what we do. Again, we try to highlight physicality, try to highlight being nasty up front, and overall what we do is a scheme. Because again, you'll see 20 yards downfield, pancaking guys. But just give your kids something so they wake up. Because I know you don't want to go to a meeting and they're half-assed asleep. You don't want that, so you got to wake them up. So we always start with something like this, kind of highlighting our kids. All right, so kind of introduction. This will be quick. Coach Bencke, been at Arlington Seguin for 5 years. Prior to that, I was at Bixby High School up in Oklahoma. Was very lucky up there. And then played at Tulsa from 2011 to 2015. Was very lucky. I had Coach Blankenship as my head coach. We ran that Morris or Malzahn offense. And then my final year, Coach Montgomery came in from Baylor, and we kind of ran that Brile system, which is kind of crazy. I moved down here during COVID, won 3 state championships. I was lucky. Coaches wanted to know more about the Brile's offense than 3 state championships. I didn't get it, but we know that's a big thing down here. So we're just kind of going through that. We've been trying to turn it around. Before, in 2017 to 2020, Seguin won 1 game. They went 1-29. We're starting to finally get that. We've been 19-19 the past 4 years, and we got a shot this year to have our best team. So we're looking forward to that. Kind of going through, again, you're nothing without your kids. You can be the best coach, but if you don't have talent, nothing's going to work. You can be the worst coach, and if you have talent, they make you look good. So kind of just here's a picture. This is a mix of high school and college guys. We've been very fortunate. We've sent over 12 guys to college at O-line, and they still come back to the community, work out with us, and kind of teach our current kids. We actually just hired a kid that played at Seguin to be the assistant O-line coach. So he played there 5 years ago, went and played in college, and now he's coming back to coach. And that's more investment, right? As coaches, we know we can move jobs. Shoot, he's from Seguin. He has more pride on it, so he should be a good impact with this group. All right, again, going through kind of who I've been taught by, kind of my influences. I've been very fortunate. Coaches have helped raise me, and that's why I'm a coach. But growing up in New Mexico, I had a head coach, Kirk Potter. He's in the New Mexico Hall of Fame. Went to Tulsa, had Denver Johnson, coached me for 4 years. Had Coach Blesh and Coach Maddox, who are both college coaches, or obviously college, but one's an OC. Coach Maddox was the OC of UTSA, and now he's just coaching O-line at ECU. Kind of going through, my first job was Coach Montgomery at Bixby High School. He took a chance on a young college kid and got me that first job where I learned a bunch. And then just kind of going through the list, you'll see Coach Dylan Bickham was the former O-line coach at Seguin. He's moved to Houston now, and now we've hired guys from within. And then Coach Turner, the camp I was just at, learned a crap ton from him at clinics like this 5 years ago, which is crazy, and now working alongside him on that camp scene. All right, kind of getting to today. There's going to be a bunch of information on all these clinics, all these speaks. The goals for today is to take some type of nugget. It's not going to be everything. Take some nugget that fits your program, that fits your O-lineman. It might be learn a drill that I'm going to show. Maybe you've been struggling with working on that post foot. I might have a drill for you. It might be what we do in the off season that you can implement to your program. There's going to be things you can't do, right? We're a 5A school. Our smallest offensive lineman next year starting is going to be 6'3", 300, right? You don't have that. You might not have that. So take something that we do in the off season and put it to your program. Don't try to come up here and do everything we do. Don't try to come up here and run everything of an offense, right? You might want to run those deep choice routes, but if you don't have a quarterback, good luck, right? So take something that you can do. All right, so kind of going through right after the season ends, usually in November, December, what we do is evaluate. And I'll show you, I have on here our evaluations. So we have every kid come in, and we have an evaluation sheet that we fill out with them, right? We see what they were good at this season, what they were bad, what they need to improve on, and what their goals are. It's not long. It takes about 15 minutes to do, but we go through and do this all the time with seniors and with current players. You get to learn what they liked, what they didn't like. Example is coach. Man, every morning we got up at 6:15. We were a little tired. Oh, well, we have 10 O-linemen total from varsity to JV. We need depth issues, right? So we can adjust that. We can practice later. We can practice in the afternoon. So again, listen to your kids, right? You guys coach football because you love it, right? So you can wake up whenever and you'll go work it. Some of these kids don't. So take their feedback. We also evaluate our scheme, which I'll show you here in a second, kind of what we do. We evaluate all of our plays. Every single snap of the year, we evaluate. Okay, this worked, this didn't work. Coach, me and the head coach sit down. Coach, we ran GT 120 times and averaged 2 yards a carry. Why the bleep are we running that? Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe we shouldn't run GT anymore. So evaluate what you do. You can barely see it. So again, I'll send this to you if you want on my email. But we have an evaluation sheet that every coach sits down with their position group and they evaluate with them. Again, 15 minutes, but we evaluate. Next up, again, kind of going through, we make it nice and neat, little binder, going over our whole every offensive play. We break it down into multiple categories, which again you can't see, so I'll share it with you. You know, first down, second down, third down, first quarter, second quarter, plays by formation, plays by motion. We break it down. This thing, you can ask Coach Barry, this thing's probably about 80, 90 pages. It's probably over the top, but again, data's your friend, so use it. All right, so that's right out of the gate. Now it's coming to winter. Now here's the thing that bugs the shit out of me. I apologize, but as a lot of O-linemen and a lot of O-line coaches, not a lot, maybe some, they say, hey, you're big, you just play football. No. We emphasize second sports. If you look at the best offensive linemen, they all play second sports, which I'll go over here in a second. Wrestle, shoot, basketball, track. I saw one I have a spreadsheet. One played 7-on-7 receiver. He's going to the University of Texas to play tackle. That's a damn good athlete, right? So emphasize second sports. You never want to hear an O-line coach say, hey, you just play O-line, you're just with me the whole year. No, because they're going to get tired of you. That's one thing. You're going to get tired of them. So send them to their second sports. We also emphasize lift a lot in the winter, heading to spring ball. If you know our head coach, Coach Gordon, we like to run, not in the winter. We want to lift and eat weights in the winter. 4 times a week, we lift. Let's say we have an hour period. We spend 45 minutes lifting, 15 minutes working agilities, and then we send them home. There's no extra conditioning. We want to get big and strong in the off season. And again, to sign up some key lifts that we do that maybe you don't do, right? I also run strength and conditioning. We hit our bench, we hit our back squat, front squat, deadlift. We do all that, but we also spend a lot of time emphasizing single leg, single arm, and grip work. Again, it doesn't take long. You still hit your core lifts, but at O-line, you're never just going to bench press somebody. You're never just going to squat. You have to be able to use one leg, one arm, a single arm punch. You're going to get knocked off balance, being able to be on one foot, be able to reset. So, again, that's a key emphasis in our weight room. And, again, I got a lot on here, so if you have any questions, ask at the end and just hit me up. So, again, I'll talk about it. Again, you can't see it, but here's our ideal, or kind of how we set up. We use rack coach to lift. Again, it goes on a timer, but we do core. So we do like a big lift, so deadlift. We do single arm, single leg, and with some type of grip work. Farmer's carry, right? Plate pushes, plate pinches, partner carries. We end on some type of uncommon lift. And again, if we want to get and talk about that, just ask me after. Kind of going through, we track what the kids weigh, height, weight in January, their maxes, and then we also track before we start spring ball or right after spring ball. Again, we have a lot of size at Seguin. A lot of size. I got one kid who's 6'8", 380, right? And he's a big joker. I think our average senior is 6'4", 315. Our average sophomore is 6 foot, 270. So again, not everything we do you can do, right? We can't really run outside zone, being honest with you. So tailored to what you can do to what your kids can do. And again, here's just kind of after we track how much they grow, their improvements, and we go over this on the evaluations. That's one thing too. I sit down to my 6'8" guard, right? Hey, you were 380 in January, and now you're 390. What the hell are you doing? We can evaluate what he does off the field, what he eats, what he drinks. Have those conversations and evaluations with your kids. All right, so here's just a stat. I didn't know this until I was asked to present. I decided, hey, let's look at the best offensive linemen in Texas. Right, the top, they might not be the best, the highest rated. Let me rephrase that. The highest rated offensive lineman in Texas. And do they do 2 or 3 sports? If you notice, I don't know if you can see, out of 15 kids, only 1 was football only. So if we talk about we want the best O-lineman, then why the hell are we telling them just to play O-line? Right? Play second sports. You develop different skills. Most of them were track, shot and disc. We had wrestling, we had basketball, we had one that was soccer and basketball, and then we had one that was just 7-on-7. It's a special athlete. Kind of going through, then I compared it to what we had at Seguin. These are a college-bound O-linemen, and you kind of see the same trend. 89% of our O-line played a second sport, the guys that played in college. You had track, wrestling, basketball and track. So again, the days of a sloppy 300-pound O-line is done. You see guys, they're big athletes. That's really what O-line is now. You watch Tyron Smith, he's got a six-pack. So again, don't pigeonhole your kids. Let them play multiple sports. And I think as a coach, you have to emphasize it. If you're the football coach, if you're the head coach, if you're a coordinator, and you tell your kids to play second sports, they will. And it also builds up that credibility. When there's a hooper that's 6'6", or let's be honest, you got a post player at your school that's 6'2", 215, he's not going to college as a guard or as a post guy at 6'2". But damn, that might be a DN right there for your program. So it allows you to share athletes by sending your kids to second sports. All right. I'm kind of going in order. Season, winter, spring, then kind of going through that. In the spring, at Seguin, you'll come to practice Monday and one Tuesday. We're running a bunch of shit. Sorry. Our philosophy at Seguin in the spring is to throw everything against the wall and see what sticks. Because you can have your game plan. You can have hey, I'm an inside zone coach. I'm a deep choice coach. Well, if your average O-lineman weighs 190 pounds, the inside zone might not be good for you. If that's all you can do, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So the key is to have a system, not an offense. If you have a system, you can adapt with the kids that you have in your program. If you just run the wing T offense and you have 2 running backs, good luck. Be able to adapt within your system. So we throw everything at them, and I have a little clip here after. Inside zone, outside zone, pin pull, GT, counter, ISO, trap. In the spring, we throw everything out and see what's good. In the summer and the fall, we narrow it down to our strengths. But you have to evaluate what you can run in the spring. And this is not just O-line either, right? Look at your offense. If you're a 4 verts guy and you ran in the spring 100 times and you averaged a 20% completion rate, you might want to change it. So in the spring, evaluate what you do. It gives you a good base of drills and backgrounds too, in case you need to change. So, prime example. 3 years ago, we had a really good O-line that could move. So if you played us 3 years ago, GT, GH counter, we ran a bunch of outside zone. Now, with our average O-line being 320, we do not run it that as much. We're more of a inside zone, tight zone team. But in the spring, it gives you a base so where you can switch. I already know with my 2027 group that can move, we're going to pull a lot more of that group. But in the spring, if you just run inside zone all spring, well, when you have to switch, now you have to start all over. So to us, this gives us that base where you can kind of switch your offense year to year or during the season. And again, we evaluate when we're done. And again, you'll see these are all clips throughout the years. We got an inside zone, right, taking it to the house. This was this year. And you'll see we've run everything throughout the 5 years I've been here. You'll see outside zone. You'll see pin pull. You'll see counter. You'll see trap. But these are year to year that we specialize on depending on our O-lineman. Again, little pin pull right here. So again, you change what your kids can do. We're not in college where we can recruit our kids. So you can't recruit the fast pullers, right? You got to be able to, you got what you got, whoever lives in your attendance zone. So again, you'll see us throughout the year kind of change up what we do and go from there. All right, second part of spring ball. I'm a full believer in everybody gets reps, right? You can have your core group of guys. We know you're going to win with your varsity guys, with your top 11. But you need to develop everybody in the program just in case. You never know when someone gets hurt, so everybody needs to get reps. So my key job, especially at the O-line group, I make sure the 1s, 2s, and 3s get the same amount of reps. You might be in trouble when that 3 gets in, but at least he knows what he's doing. At least you've developed him. Another big part, too, is I move O-line around. In the summer, in the fall, I like to keep them kind of, you have that core group. Hey, you're a guard, you're a tackle. In the spring, I have everybody play every position, especially center, because you don't want to be pigeonholed to have one kid that can snap. Because if you only have one and he gets hurt, now you're in trouble. So we do snap school every Monday where every O-lineman in the program works on snapping, and then we make sure everybody can snap. Right now, I feel comfortable with 4 guys that can play center. That's a good thing, right? So you can move kids around. You'll see our starting center playing right tackle on drive 2. I want everybody to get good, and part of that is because in high school, I played tackle in high school. I'm not a tackle in college. Everyone knows that. I never played a snap of guard in high school. So when I went to college, I had to adjust to that. So to me, I give these kids the ability to play everything just in case. Because you ever go to these camps and say, hey, I need a left guard. Well, coach, I only play right guard. Well, shit, you're out of luck if you can only play one. So be able to play every position, and that's what we focus on in the spring. All right, that next part is sinking, soaking. And repetition is the mother of skill. I want to develop in the spring so the kids know the routine. Hey, they know if I were to somehow be struck by lightning, or if it was like this year, if I was supposed to be out with a back injury, you'd expect the O-line to know what they have to do. Obviously, we're not going to leave them there with no coach, but we focus on it. We do player-led workouts. There's no coaches on the field. We're overseeing it. Players have the script, and they go through Indy. They go through practice. That's the kind of leadership you want to develop. So set a routine. Our kids know before we even before we even start practice and warm up, we have our speed ladder out there. We have our bags out there. We have jump ropes out there, and we go through pre-practice drills. The kids know that. So that means I can get on their ass when practice starts at 3, and at 2:55 they're sitting around doing nothing. No, you know the routine. Get up, get everything out, and start going through pre-practice. So again, set that routine for your kids. Because kids act like they don't like routine. They act like they don't like school. But the routine and structure actually helps them, and they know that too. So set that in practice. And in the spring, that's really what we focus on. And kind of going off of that, it builds coaches in your program. When your former kids can come coach for you, that's the biggest sign right there. Because, again, they have more invested. And we're fortunate with that. We have one right now, and we have two more coming up. The guard I have at Virginia right now, starting left guard at Virginia, he's already told me, Coach, hey, when I'm done playing, I'm coming to coach for you. All right, good. They know the routine, they know the system, and they know the expectations. So you want to develop that through your indie and practice. All right, kind of going through, after the spring, we sit down, because like I said, some of you kind of lost your mind. Coach, you run that much in the spring? Yes. We sit down then and evaluate what we were good at. I can tell you this year, we ran a bunch of outside zone and counter in team. We're not going to really do that, but we want to look at it and see if we can be good at it. We know 4th and 1, we're going tight zone. But going through it, you can see and evaluate what you're good at, what you're not. So when you're looking at an O-line perspective of what you want to run, kind of what we look at is, one, how many starters are coming back? Can we use last year's film, last year's evaluation for this next year? You can say, hey, Coach, we ran wide zone last year, and we averaged 8 yards a carry. Well, that's great, but you lost all 5 starters. So evaluate if you can use last year's film for this year. The second thing we look at is, what does your JV and freshman teams do well, right? Because, again, look at your feeder schools, look at your programs underneath. If our freshman group went undefeated like they did last year, well, shoot, I'm going to run a lot what they ran. They were good at it. I'm not going to pigeonhole them into what the varsity was good at. Because, again, you have different kids. This is not Madden or NCAA where you create a player. I'll have a kid who's 6'8", I'll have a kid who's 5'8". Develop what you have, and then evaluate and go off what you have. Do what your younger coaches have done, what your youth programs do. Kind of example is, if you're shorter or more mobile up front, kind of common sense we know as coaches, run more outside, run more wide zone, get more horizontal displacement. Bigger up front and can't move, more inside zone, tight zone, duo, right, go off of that. You can ask the Midlothian Heritage coaches, if you're like us this year and can't block anybody up front, better have a plan for that too. Swings, screens, quick game, get the ball out quick. And we had that this year, man. But shoot, we try to get our fast guys in space, so let's not let the O-lineman block them. Throw a swing out there, let's throw a screen, let's get in space. And then here's one too, and this is why you guys are here, or you're getting better. What can you teach well? If you can't teach something well, don't run it. Hey, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to run, mesh. Let's just say mesh. I'm going to run mesh, but you can't teach it. Then why the hell are you running it? Do what you can run. And if you don't know how to coach it, find a coach who does and learn it, or hire them. But don't try to run the new phase, the new cute thing. Everyone, hey, Michigan won the national championship. Let's go 2 back and run duo. But if you can't coach it, why the hell are you running it? So coach what you can coach. And I've been fortunate I can coach a couple things, but, again, there's some things I don't know. So if you don't know, find help, reach out, and clinic, learn it so you can teach it. Because if you're not a good teacher, the kids will know, and they won't have confidence in it. And coach is up here bullshitting. I don't even know what. He's telling me to step this. It makes no sense. You lost him. So make sure you run what you can coach. And if not, hire a coach who can. And then again, you'll see in the end season, work on your strengths. How we try to do that at Seguin, we take our best 3 run plays, and we're going to find 20 ways to run it. We're going to take our 3 or 4 concepts that we can run on offense as a pass game, and we're going to give you a motion to it. We're going to give you a tag off of it. We're not going to try to do too much. Be good at your strengths. In the spring, focus on your weaknesses, what you can get better. In the summer and the fall, focus on what your kids can do. Again, you can't see it, so I apologize for that. But after spring ball, we give the kids another evaluation. And the biggest thing, we didn't do this last year and we did it this year. Ask what camps they're going to. These kids are going to all these damn camps now. And if you have no idea where your kids are going, I'll keep it real. there's recruiting in Texas. And if you don't know where your kids are, you might not know who's talking to them. Just keeping it 100. So make sure you know where your kids are. And it builds that buy-in support. This week, we had had a camp at the Arlington Lamar. Man, a couple kids got offers, cool. I didn't like it? No, I didn't like it. It was just, it's old linemen in shirts and shorts, so that's not really evaluating. But I showed up with Gatorades so the kids can see the support. They go to these mega camps. Show up to them. Show that you're there to support them, because they'll appreciate that when you're coaching them hard in the season. All right, so now where we are right now, shifting to the summer. Again, in the summer, we're going to condition a little bit more. We got to get in game shape. So we're still lifting 4 days a week, but now we're doing agility stations. Now we're doing conditioning throughout the week. More emphasis on it. You build that strength base in the winter and spring. Now you work on getting in game shape in the summer. One thing we do, too, starting it this year, because I have kids that are this big and out of shape, cardio club. We did it in college. With Coach Montgomery and that Brile system, as an old lineman, it sucked, but you had to get 3 days a week, 30 minutes of cardio on top of practice, weights, and all of that. You logged it, you checked in with the trainer, with the strength coaches, you got on that bike. If you were in trouble, you got on that Stairmaster, and you had 30 minutes. So what we do is we don't do that. We do 20 minutes. But our kids know our old linemen. They got 2 sessions of 20-minute cardio. It can be at the house. They have to send me a picture of it. Send me a picture of your watch. Send me a picture of the 20 minutes on the bike, just to get that built-in shape. And it kind of builds that camaraderie, because now they're going back and forth. You're texting. One this week, send me a picture of 19 minutes and 50 seconds. And that doesn't count. That's not 20. Builds that little buy-in. What we'll do during the skills and drills portion of it, we will prep for our opponents for the summer or for the week and the season. So on Monday, let's say we ran wide zone versus odd front. On Tuesday, we will focus on wide zone versus an even front. On Wednesday, we'll focus on the amoeba defense, like, hey, people moving around. So we go one scheme a week, run game. We just hit every look to it in the summer, because we're prepping for our opponents, especially in the new districts. Right? Going into year 2 of realignment, you kind of know what the teams run. But if you have new teams in your district, scout them, watch the old tape, and prep for them now. If you know you got a big game, week 4, steal some time now. Don't tell the kids you're prepping for them. So don't go in there and say, hey, we're working on West Mesquite. Just tell them, hey, we're working versus odd front this week, and build in what they do. An example is in Oklahoma at Bixby, 2018, we knew Stillwater was the team we were going to play. They had Gundy's son at quarterback. They were loaded. So we wouldn't tell the kids, hey, we're practicing Stillwater, but every week we'd spend 10 minutes of practice working on their defense. So by the time you get there, you've been running it a bunch, so it's not new. So if you're playing a team, I don't think I see, like a Midlothian, they run the wing tee. Still time to practice that in the summer. And you're playing against a 3-safety team, still time to practice it. Again, don't tell the kids this is who you're practicing against, but just start looking at it now. And we do that in the summer. All right, so kind of transitioning real quick. I know I've thrown a lot at you, kind of going through some drills. Do I do it the best? No, I don't. I steal drills all the time. I learn from others. I take new coaching points every time, but kind of going through some drills we do. I stole this year. Again, you can't see it. I apologize for that. But I create a little template of a drill matrix. So I go run, pass, and then I do pre-practice, and I literally just record all the drills that I have and what they're working on. So in the season, if you notice, hey, my quarterbacks are struggling on the 3-step drop, have a little drill matrix, and I print this up on my desk, and I can go, hey, I need to work this in Indy today. I need to work this in Indy. Because, again, we all have drills. There's millions out there. But having it all organized and written down helps you. In my opinion, it helps me so I can work on what I need to work in Indy. So, pre-practice. Again, this is what we do every day in pre-practice. We have 5 sets of drills. We don't do all 5 every day, but I have 5 to pick 2 out of. Again, why we do it? Get the offensive lineman awake. If we practice in the morning, they're sleepy as hell. Wake them up. You don't want the head coach coming to you, hey, man, why aren't we blocking? You don't want that. So get their ass up, get them moving. We want to develop good O-lineman movement patterns. So I'm not saying go out there and run gassers. That's not what O-linemen do. Work on your kicks, work on your shuffles, work on your footwork, right? Go through that. We want to increase foot speed, and this is big because I've actually had a kid tell me he's done this every day. Give them some tools they can use at home to get better. You can see the kids that want to get better. Example, one of ours is jump rope. I had a kid this week, coach, man, I did 5 minutes of jump rope. Hey, that's a start. That's not somewhere where you're at their house coaching them, but they're trying to get better through different means. So one thing we do is speed ladders. Again, this is not just, I'm not saying just do speed ladders, but we do this to warm our kids up pre-practice. That's the Virginia guy right there. Again, going through 1 foot in the hole. We go hops. Again, you can have a progression, but I just filmed some of our guys going through it. And I fed them after so I could record this for them. 1-legged hops. And I'm just saying, that's 6'5", 315. That's a power 4. Is that right? Power 4 O-lineman. They're not big and sloppy anymore. We hit our power shuffles on the speed ladder. In and out, again, working foot speed. Again, yeah, coach, I know we're never going to do this in a game. I'm just getting them awake, getting them active, and working on foot speed. If they ever do this in the game, we're in trouble. But I want to develop good foot speed and get them up. Again, all these shuffle going through, working on quick feet. Here's the one they hate. We do in and outs with our hands. We did this in college, and I hated it every day. I want to make them sweat a little bit. This is kind of working on hand speed, just replacing our hands. Again, just getting them up, get them moving. You can tell the difference between D1 and high school. But again, our kids are working. Here's one we do, L drill. It's not your typical L drill. I set up 3 cones, so about 5 yards apart. They work kick to a shuffle. Then I have another pair set up there. So again, going through O-line movements. You can't expect a kid to wake up, probably not eat, probably not drink any water, show up to practice ready to go by just going through your coach's dynamic warm-up. A skip, B skip. Get them doing O-line movements from the jump. So when you have them do it in drills and in practice, they've warmed up at it. That's the key point of this. So again, I just have 3 cones, so we work kick to a shuffle. Then I have 3 cones set up going the other way. All right, so pass game drills. I went pass first. I kind of broke it. I usually go run first, but I know we're at the one-back clinic, so pass first drills. So the goal is to teach the basic movement patterns of an offensive lineman, which you would think kids know, but they really don't. Right? A kick. What's a kick? What's a power shuffle? What's a post? Right? Explain. That's the goal, is to develop these. You want to get reps every day. O-line's probably the most awkward movement in all of sports. Kids don't learn how to play O-line just by watching it. You have to rep it. So we do a bunch of reps, realistic situations, right? We're not going to go kick for 50 yards because you never do that in a game, right? Do realistic situations, and then follow our teaching progression. So again, we go by the 7 progressions of teaching. So we do indie first, then we do group work, then we go half line, and then we go team. And then you watch film first, right? We have a whole progression, but make sure it follows that progression. So first one's kick and shuffle with a med ball on the ground. Focus on staying low. Focus on keeping my chest up and just going through basic movements. So again, we'll do 1 kick and then hot feet at the end. Now we'll do 3. For my college guys, I tell them do whatever your O-line coach tells you to do. You might be a vertical setting team. Do what they coach you to do. I don't want you to come here and get me yelled at. And then we go through kicks to a shuffle, right? We just go through every movement with the med ball. Again, focus on staying low, focus on keeping my chest up. And then I'll combine kicks to a shuffles to a kick. But again, just working basic movements. And as you notice, You don't need pads for these. So these are drills you can work in the summer without pads and still get better, right? And then once you put the pads on, you can add a dummy. You can add a D lineman. But you can do this on air if you want to, or with a med ball. Now we go to strikes. We use the med ball first kind of as a placement. Now we're striking and working on punching. So again, we'll work partner strikes. Again, just one kick, 3 kicks, 1 kick to a shuffle, shuffle to a kick. We go through all the basic pattern movements in a game. And here we go again, adding 2 med balls. Really focusing on this one, keep my head out of it. He struggled because he liked to lean a lot, especially in pass pro. So we kind of told him, hey, the emphasis is when you strike, punch your head out of it so you can keep your chest up. So again, just reinforcing basic movements. Zigzags, kind of going through. So on this one, we're working kick to the right, shuffle to the left, adding 2 med balls. He needs to keep his shoulders square more, but again, just working basic movements and making them work. Because again, what you don't want to do is when you kick is open your shoulders up and give up that inside go by the D lineman. Mirror drill. Kind of again here, no pads. He's on offense, he's on defense, he's the rabbit. He's going back and forth. He's an O lineman rabbit, so he's not that good. Sometimes I'll grab a linebacker that's not doing anything, and I'll tell him to be my rabbit. I had one freshman linebacker. I said, hey, if you can lose our O lineman, you'll get a Gatorade. Shoot, he got 7 Gatorades. That made us better. Because, again, you have an O lineman doing it, it's not going to be that fast. But you actually have a linebacker or D lineman doing it, making a realistic look. It pushes your guys. And in this case, the freshman wasn't getting any work. So now he's working a little bit. So here's mirror drill again. Again, your goal is to stay in front. Good leverage, good posture. He needs to be a little bit lower. But, again, stay in front. Keep those feet moving. Here's, again, kind of just some camp footage from this year. Kind of going through the drills. This is the left guard right here for us. Kind of good job keeping his feet. Keep staying with him, right? Needs to be a little bit lower. But it is pass pro without pads, right? So you can't really strike. But staying in front of him, using the mirror drill. Going through our basic movements. Here's another one. This is going to be a MFer. This is a sophomore at 6'2", 315. He's going to be a dude, but again, going through the Lamar camp, misses with his hands, but does a good job staying square, keeping his feet moving, and finishing outside. And then here, he plays center for us, but can play tackle and guard. Little O-line, D-line camp. He took camp MVP. Again, staying in front. Again, moving your feet, staying low, striking. And he's going against a D1 edge rusher right there from Seguin that just happens to be from Seguin as well. All right, so here's some in-game clips kind of going through. You'll see a mix of everything. That one work? All right, here we go. Good. Okay, mix of everything. Again, just staying, giving your quarterback time. Quarterback does a good job here. We stay on it. Escaping the pocket, being coached up just like Coach Barry does. Move up in the pocket. Find that target. Again, we want to give our quarterback time. Again, a mix of everything. This one, I'm really looking at the right guard. When you teach finishing, finish is a mentality. So looking at the right guard here, picks up the twist. You see he's going to find extra work. Be physical, knock down, again, make a play. Midlothian from 2 years ago, again, good pro up front. These dudes were good as hell this year. But, again, give our quarterback time to make plays, and you'll see all those basic fundamentals we work. Summit from 2 years ago, again, we give the quarterback a pocket. We stay on our work. We run them by. Quarterback steps up, finds our Z, hitting the post over 3 guys for a big touchdown. Oh, shoot, my bad. This is all one clip. Let me get there. So, again, just going through all the basic movements that we work in Indy, Skelly, Team Blitz, etc. Again, versus Everman, good job giving the quarterback time. Again, it is quick. but give us time to go make a play. Let our receivers go to work. Again, Everman again. Good job here at the pass pro. Stay working, stay on your man, stay active. Quarterback will make a play. And then versus Waco, same thing. Sophomore quarterback, first start ever. Make sure you give him time. Keep building some confidence. Again, good pocket. Find our receiver going to Texas. That's a pretty good check down. And go from there. So that's pass. Now, run. So run game drills. First thing, teach the scheme you do. Don't spend 20 minutes working on pulling when you never pull. So again, teach your scheme. The emphasis in run game, feet and hands. Feet and hands. Your feet gets you in front, your hands control. So lower body gets you in front. Obviously, you move, but hands control. So we want quick feet. We emphasize our first two steps are quick, and then we work leverage and straining with our hands. Hands low to high. Emphasize hip level and finish. And again, follow that same teaching progression. Indie, group, half line, team, etc. All right, so kind of going through, we're on the boards every day. I always like to slow it down. So when we go on air, I'll do 3 whistles. First whistle, first step. Second whistle, second step. Third whistle, going all the way through. So again, you'll see it can be inside zone, outside zone, pull. Just footwork's the biggest thing. Now I'm working covered. So I'm on a combo right now, inside zone combo. I'm working covered. So I'm going to strike. In college, I use flipper. I teach strike. I also teach flipper. I let the kids decide what they're better at. Give them a toolbox. Is this one on? There. Okay. So again, now we're working backside. Good job right here by our senior. Good strike. Again, we say hands low to high. You don't block somebody out in front, low to high, and displace them. All right, this one we just bought, Crowler sled. We use this every day in college. We'd hate Coach Johnson when he said, hey, we're on the Crowler sled every damn day. It's the best tool, though. So first thing we do, just working. I notice when I say finish somebody, the kids have no idea what that means. So we got to drill it. Finish. So we work striking, we work shooting our hips and extending. So this is at the end of a block. You finish somebody by shooting your hips and extending. So we drill it. Then we'll hit our combo, front side combos. Again, I've been taught both ways. Baylor system, inside zone, you step with your inside foot first and then out. Everywhere else, kind of you step with your play side. The thought process for that Brio system was step inside to cut off inside penetration, and then we block out because everything was hitting a gap. But again, working on the Crowler sled. You can just have somebody holding the dummy down low. Just the main part is to load the hips, 6-point stance, and extend. You can do this on the wall. We have little padded walls. You could do it there. But, yeah, and tell your coach to get a Crowler sled. It's the best investment. Yeah. No, so I get them on the wall. If you have a padded wall, again, hips low, just work it. They're going to be, at first, they're going to be hesitant because they don't want to hit the ground. Oh, coach, it hurts. Oh, bullshit. Get down. We got to work it. Work on that extension. Yeah, and so we do one hand. Next phase at a linebacker right here on the second whistle, snap off to the linebacker on a combo. And then again, now we have working backside. Feet come too close, but again, we're working on the Crowler sled. Then when they're bullshitting in practice, that's the last cuss, I promise. I'll put that 380-pound old lineman on there. Now it's not moving. Now you got to strain. And then kind of the last thing that I do, kind of that was run. If you're an O-line coach and you're the only O-line coach, you know how hard it is to grade tape and send the notes out to the players. It's a pain. Because, yeah, quarterback coach, you got one quarterback, hopefully. Receivers, you got 4. Yeah, but maybe you have an inside coach and an outside coach. O-lineman, you got all 5. So what I do, and you can't see it, I'm upset, but I can show you how to do it. So on Huddle, I make my own custom columns, and I put in each position. So left tackle, left guard, center, right tackle. And then I type in their notes on there so they can see it. It takes me a long time, but you want your guys to get their coaching points. So on every play. I had Coach Bickham last year that helped me. He would take left side, I took right side. I have Coach Mirez now, so we can split it up. But I make sure and I write the notes for every kid, and they can see it, one, when they watch film, so it pops up at the top, but also, two, they can go in and look. Because then you can see who's actually taking notes, who actually wants to get better. We don't meet on Saturdays with the kids. We send it out to them. We used to, but again, I'm telling you, game is different. Maybe at your schools, maybe you're at a smaller school, you might have one college guy. Nowadays, everybody's going to these games. There's these visits. So we stopped meeting in person on Saturday with the kids when half the team was missing. There's no point of fighting that. So we meet as a staff, we go through and grade it, and we send it out to the kids on huddle. Again, you can see it a little bit better here, but I have each column, right? Left tackle, left guard, center, right tackle. And I go and put in their coaching points so they can see every position. All right, so again, covered a lot. Kind of like I couldn't exactly go over what we do lifting-wise. That would take an hour. Evaluations, that would take an hour. Pass game, that would take an hour. So I kind of want to give a little bit of everything. If you have any questions, right, feel free and reach me. There's my email. There's my phone number. There's X, whatever. Reach out. As long as we don't play you, I'll share with you, and then we'll be good from there. But I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody setting this up. Again, I was at a camp. Sorry for my voice, but I'll be here the rest of the time. I live in the area, so if you have any questions or you want to chop it up, just let me know. And I'm excited to learn and grow with all you guys. I appreciate it.